In this video, you will learn about things that are not mentioned in commercials or articles about the beneficial properties of ginger. We have gathered 10 concerning facts supported by research from American organizations and real-life medical practice that may change the way you think about this popular spice. How can it potentially harm the kidneys, liver, and pancreas? And why can it cause a sudden drop in blood sugar levels for people with diabetes? If you drink ginger tea, add it to your smoothies, take it in capsule form, or use it in cooking, make sure to watch this video all the way through. This video is going to be incredibly informative and helpful. If you want to take control of your health like a pro, give it a like, and let's get started. Problem 1. Harmful for the stomach and intestines. Can cause heartburn, diarrhea, and worsen irritable bowel syndrome, especially when consumed in the morning on an empty stomach. In recent years, it has become especially trendy in the United States to start the day with ginger water or hot ginger tea. On social media, this ritual is promoted as a universal remedy for weight loss, improved digestion, and detoxification. However, behind this appealing marketing lies real risk, especially for people with gastrointestinal conditions. According to statistics gathered by the American Gastroenterological Association, more than 40% of American adults regularly experience symptoms such as heartburn, stomach discomfort, bloating, or irritable bowel. Observations show that consuming spicy ginger first thing in the morning on an empty stomach is one of the most common triggers for worsening these issues. In 2022, the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine conducted a study involving 369 patients with chronic gastritis and gastroesophageal reflux disease. Participants who added ginger tea on an empty stomach to their morning routine reported a noticeable decline in well-being within just 1 to 2 weeks. 28% experienced worsened heartburn, while 23% reported epigastric pain and a burning sensation. Some participants even suffered from more frequent reflux episodes, and in 5 cases, brief incidents of nighttime vomiting were recorded. A real-life case occurred in Sacramento, where a 55-year-old woman named Kathleen Morris followed a popular ginger cleanse diet. Every morning on an empty stomach, she drank a cup of ginger infusion with lemon and cayenne pepper and avoided eating for the first hour. On the 5th day, she began to feel heaviness, then cramping abdominal pain, bloating, and diarrhea. A few days later, she consulted a gastroenterologist. Her condition was complicated by a flare-up of irritable bowel syndrome, which she did not even know she had. After treatment, she had to completely eliminate ginger and all spicy additives from her diet. High doses of ginger also pose a separate risk. According to local reports from the University of South Florida, clinics in Miami have recorded over 30 cases in the past 2 years of patients experiencing diarrhea, nausea, and abdominal cramps after consuming more than 5 grams of ginger per day. Many of these individuals believed that more is better, especially when trying to boost metabolism. Special attention should be given to patients with chronic colitis, ulcerative bowel disease, and irritable bowel syndrome. Ginger irritates the lining of the intestines, increases peristalsis, and may cause not only diarrhea but also inflammation flare-ups. With long-term use in high doses, from 3 to 5 grams per day, ginger can disrupt bowel function even in otherwise healthy individuals. Never consume ginger on an empty stomach. Even if you do not have gastritis or other digestive disorders, taking it before eating can increase stomach acid and irritate the lining. This practice is especially risky if done regularly. The safest way to consume ginger is only after meals in a warm form and no more than once a day. The maximum daily dose should not exceed 2 grams, which is approximately half a teaspoon of powder or 1 small piece of fresh root. People with sensitive stomachs, gastritis, ulcers, irritable bowel syndrome, or chronic colitis should completely avoid ginger in any form. Do not follow advice from the internet without consulting a gastroenterologist. The consequences can be much more serious than temporary discomfort. Problem 2. Can cause a sudden drop in blood pressure to dangerous levels. According to the National Institute on Aging in the United States, in 2023, more than 18% of Americans over the age of 65 experienced low blood pressure. This condition is especially common among women, people with low body weight, and those taking diuretic medications. However, few people are aware that one of the most popular home immunity spices, ginger, can make this condition worse. In November 2022, Harvard Medical School published a study involving 234 men and women between the ages of 40 and 70. Participants with unstable or low blood pressure were given different doses of ginger, ranging from 1 to 5 grams per day. By the third week, taking more than 3 grams daily caused symptoms such as dizziness, blurred vision upon standing, weakness, and even brief disorientation in 38% of participants. 9 individuals experienced a drop in blood pressure below 90/60 millimeters of mercury, which required the immediate discontinuation of ginger. A real-life case occurred in San Diego. A 67-year-old woman named Dorothy Miller was admitted to a city clinic after losing her balance and falling in the bathroom, hitting the back of her head. According to her daughter, Dorothy had been drinking 3 cups of hot ginger tea every day for 2 weeks, hoping to strengthen her immune system during cold and flu season. Upon admission, her blood pressure was 82/56 millimeters of mercury. Doctors were able to stabilize her, but strongly advised her to stop consuming ginger due to its pronounced blood pressure lowering effects. If you have ever had low blood pressure, especially if it has dropped below 90/60 millimeters of mercury, you should not include ginger in your daily diet. Even 1 cup of concentrated ginger tea can affect vascular tone. It is better to replace it with gentle and safer drinks, such as warm water with mint or lemon balm. And if you still wish to include ginger in your meals, do so only after eating and no more than once every few days while carefully monitoring how you feel. It is essential to consult with a doctor before making ginger a regular part of your diet. Problem 3. Dangerous for people with gallstone disease. Gallstone disease remains one of the most common issues among the adult population in the United States. According to the American Gastroenterological Association, 1 in 6 American adults over the age of 40 has gallstones, and most of them are not even aware of it. The condition is especially common among women over 50, individuals with excess body weight, or those who follow extreme diets. Against this backdrop, ginger is often mistakenly seen as a safe remedy for improving digestion or losing weight. It does indeed have a pronounced choleretic effect. The active compounds found in ginger root stimulate bile production and release, increasing the activity of the gallbladder. However, if stones have already formed in the organ, even those smaller than 5 millimeters, this can lead to serious consequences such as spasms, blockage of the bile ducts, and inflammation. A 2021 study by the Minnesota State University of Health Sciences found a direct link between the use of choleretic spices and the risk of flare-ups in patients with asymptomatic gallstone disease. The study involved 143 people diagnosed with gallstones that had not yet caused discomfort. After adding ginger-containing foods to their diets, nearly 20% of the participants reported symptoms within 2 weeks, including heaviness in the upper right abdomen, nausea, and cramping pain. Ultrasound confirmed blockage of the cystic duct and developing cholecystitis in 9 of them. A similar incident occurred with a 62-year-old woman from Memphis named Sandra James. She consulted a nutritionist to lose weight and boost her immune system. After finding a powerful fat-burning recipe online based on ginger and lemon, she began drinking freshly squeezed ginger juice, diluted in warm water every morning on an empty stomach. By the 6th day, Sandra felt a sharp pain in her right side that worsened after meals. Within hours, her condition deteriorated. She experienced nausea and cold sweats. At the emergency room, an ultrasound revealed a gallstone approximately 6 millimeters in size, blocking her bile duct, triggered by the gallbladder's active contraction. Emergency surgery was required to remove the organ. If you have ever been diagnosed with gallstones, even small ones, or if you sometimes experience pain in the upper right side of your abdomen after eating fatty foods, you must be extremely cautious with choleretic foods. These include not only ginger, but also turmeric, garlic, turnip, and concentrated lemon. In cases of gallstone disease, any spices that enhance bile flow may provoke an unpredictable reaction in the body. The safest approach is to completely eliminate ginger from your diet and avoid self-directed detox or weight loss attempts using it. Before taking any supplements, even natural ones, be sure to consult with a gastroenterologist and have an ultrasound of the gallbladder. Problem 4. Thins the blood and may cause bleeding. According to statistics published in 2023 by the National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute of the United States, more than 36 million Americans over the age of 50 take medications that reduce blood clotting. These are used to prevent thrombosis, heart attacks, and strokes. The most commonly used medications include acetylsalicylic acid and warfarin. However, many patients are unaware that a single ingredient in their herbal tea, ginger root, can intensify the effects of these medications and trigger dangerous internal bleeding. In 2022, a research team from the College of Pharmacy at Iowa State University conducted clinical observations of patients who were taking anticoagulants while also consuming ginger drinks, capsules, or tinctures. The findings were concerning. Even a daily dose of 2 grams of dried ginger increased blood clotting time by an average of 27%. This effect was especially pronounced in older adults. Some participants experienced spontaneous nosebleeds, while others had bleeding gums when brushing their teeth. In several cases, signs of hidden gastrointestinal bleeding were detected through fecal occult blood tests. One of the most striking cases occurred in Cleveland. A 71-year-old man named Robert Henderson was admitted to a city hospital with complaints of severe weakness, dizziness, and dark-colored stool. He had been taking aspirin in a preventive dose as prescribed by his cardiologist and, according to his account, drank a tablespoon of homemade ginger and lemon tincture daily, prepared by his wife. At first, he felt energized and strong, but after 2 weeks, he began having digestive issues, followed by sudden internal bleeding. His hemoglobin level dropped below the critical threshold, and he required an urgent blood transfusion. Doctors concluded that the combination of aspirin and ginger caused excessive thinning of the blood, which led to gastric hemorrhaging. If you are taking any medications that affect blood clotting, even low doses of acetylsalicylic acid, you should completely avoid ginger drinks, tinctures, powders, and capsules. This is especially important for people over 60 years old, whose mucous membranes are more sensitive. Even a single dose of ginger can significantly amplify the effect of these medications. If you still want to include ginger in your diet, consult your doctor, who can assess the risks and recommend a safe dosage. And under no circumstances should you take ginger alongside anticoagulants without medical supervision. Problem 5. May cause hypoglycemia in people with diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is one of the most widespread chronic conditions in the United States. According to the American Diabetes Association, as of 2023, there were more than 37 million people in the country diagnosed with this disease. Around 90% of them take glucose-lowering medications, either in pill form or as insulin injections. The primary goal of therapy is to keep blood glucose levels within a safe range. However, interfering with this process by adding certain foods, especially those that affect metabolism, can be extremely risky. Ginger is known for its ability to influence blood sugar levels. It increases tissue sensitivity to insulin and promotes glucose absorption by cells. But for people already undergoing glucose-lowering treatment, adding ginger can become a trigger for a sharp drop in blood sugar, a condition known as hypoglycemia. This can be accompanied by weakness, trembling, confusion, and in severe cases, loss of consciousness and seizures. In 2021, a research team from the University of Arkansas for Medical Sciences published a study evaluating the impact of ginger on blood glucose levels in patients with type 2 diabetes. Over a 3-week observation period among a group of 42 participants who consumed ginger while taking metformin or glibenclamide, 21 individuals experienced episodes where their blood sugar dropped below 4 millimoles per liter, which is considered a dangerous level. In 7 cases, the symptoms were so severe that emergency glucose intake and temporary discontinuation of medication were required. A similar incident occurred in Chicago with a 59-year-old woman named Rachel Stone. She had been taking metformin as prescribed by her endocrinologist for 2 years and had been successfully managing her blood sugar levels. One day during an Asian cooking class, she tried pickled ginger and enjoyed the taste so much that she began adding it to her meals daily. Within a few days, she started experiencing episodes of dizziness and sweating, which she initially attributed to fatigue. One morning, she lost consciousness in her kitchen. Her husband called an ambulance. Doctors found that her blood sugar had dropped sharply to 2.5 millimoles per liter. The cause turned out to be the combination of metformin and the uncontrolled consumption of ginger, which had a significant impact on her glucose levels. If you have been diagnosed with diabetes and are taking glucose-lowering medications, whether insulin or tablets, it is essential to consult your doctor before adding ginger to your diet. It does not matter in which form you plan to consume it, fresh, pickled, dried, or in drinks. Each of these forms can affect your blood sugar levels. If your doctor allows you to include ginger, monitor your condition closely and check your glucose levels regularly, especially during the first few days. Never start consuming ginger alongside your medications based on advice from the internet. It could result in an unexpected drop in blood sugar and pose a serious health risk. Problem 6. Damages the pancreas in cases of chronic pancreatitis. According to the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases in the United States, chronic pancreatitis is diagnosed in approximately 60,000 Americans each year, and hundreds of thousands more may be living with a hidden form of the disease, experiencing occasional episodes of pain and digestive problems. The highest risk is found among people over the age of 50, especially those who are obese, have type 2 diabetes, or regularly consume fatty foods. However, very few people associate a sudden flare-up of pancreatitis with ginger. Ginger actively stimulates the production of digestive enzymes such as amylase, lipase, and trypsin. In a healthy individual, this can help improve digestion. But for someone with a weakened or inflamed pancreas, this stimulation becomes an added burden, triggering inflammation, swelling, and even enzyme-induced damage to the organ itself. In 2021, a group of gastroenterologists from the University of Colorado School of Medicine observed patients with a latent form of chronic pancreatitis. The study found that 34% of participants who consumed ginger as an infusion, powder, or supplement for more than 5 consecutive days experienced symptoms of a flare-up: dull pain in the upper left abdomen, nausea, and loss of appetite. 8 patients required hospitalization to manage the episode. Researchers concluded that ginger acts as an aggressive activator of exocrine pancreatic function, which is harmful when the gland is already compromised. Practicing physicians agree. In Los Angeles, a 59-year-old man named Paul Harris was admitted to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. He had been following a popular detox plan that included warm ginger water in the morning, ginger teas throughout the day, and a special ginger powder he took before bedtime. He had decided to detox after the holidays and lose a few pounds. By the 4th day, he began to feel pain under his left rib cage, weakness, and nausea. He did not think much of it, but after 2 more days, the pain became unbearable and worsened after every meal. At the clinic, he was diagnosed with a flare-up of chronic pancreatitis. The cause was clear: overloading his pancreas with excessive ginger intake, which stimulated an increased production of enzymes. If you have ever been diagnosed with pancreatitis, whether acute or chronic, or if you experience occasional pain in the pancreas area, you should never consume ginger in any form. Even a small amount in tea or food can trigger inflammation. Ginger drinks on an empty stomach, concentrated powders, and supplements are especially dangerous. People with pancreatic conditions must follow the most gentle diet possible, free from exocrine stimulants. If you want to support your digestion, consult a gastroenterologist for safe recommendations. Using ginger for self-treatment in this situation is not just ineffective, it is dangerous. Problem 7. Increases the risk of arrhythmia in older adults. As people age, the cardiovascular system becomes especially vulnerable. According to the American Heart Association, 1 in 3 Americans over the age of 65 experiences heart rhythm disturbances, whether it is occasional tachycardia, extrasystole, or atrial fibrillation. These conditions require careful monitoring and great caution when it comes to diet and the intake of any substances, including those of plant origin. At first glance, ginger may seem completely harmless. It is known as a warming spice that improves blood circulation. However, this very property makes it potentially dangerous for older adults, especially those with heart conditions. Ginger affects the function of ion channels in cells, which regulate the balance of sodium and potassium, elements directly responsible for the rhythm of heart contractions. When ginger disrupts this electrolyte balance, it can increase the tendency toward arrhythmia, especially in people already taking medications that affect heart rhythm. In 2022, the University of South Carolina School of Medical Sciences conducted a study among cardiology department patients between the ages of 60 and 82. Researchers monitored the effects of ginger on individuals with various degrees of heart failure and predisposition to arrhythmia. They found that even a daily dose of 2 grams of dried ginger caused 9 out of 37 patients to experience a faster heart rate, increased shortness of breath, and a sense of internal tension. 3 participants experienced episodes of paroxysmal tachycardia, sudden and rapid acceleration of the heartbeat. One real case occurred in Atlanta. A 76-year-old man named Harold Bennett had a history of hypertension and compensated cardiomyopathy. While dealing with a cold, he decided to support his body naturally by drinking ginger tea, 2 cups per day. After 3 days, Harold began to feel a racing heartbeat, weakness, and dizziness. His wife called an ambulance. In the emergency room, doctors recorded a heart rate exceeding 120 beats per minute at rest. Blood tests showed an imbalance in potassium and sodium levels. Medical staff concluded that ginger's impact on fluid electrolyte balance and cardiac conduction was the trigger. If you are over the age of 60, especially if you have any heart-related conditions, from high blood pressure to any type of arrhythmia, ginger may not be a helpful remedy, but rather a risk factor. Even when consumed as tea or seasoning, it can affect how the heart functions. The use of any stimulating foods in cases of rhythm disorders is strongly discouraged without first consulting a cardiologist. It is safest to eliminate ginger from your diet, particularly during treatment, recovery from a heart attack, or while taking antiarrhythmic medications. To stay warm and support blood vessels, it is better to choose gentler alternatives such as warm herbal teas made from chamomile, linden, or hawthorn, which do not interfere with heart conduction. Problem 8. Dangerous for the kidneys in cases of chronic kidney disease. Chronic kidney disease is one of the most underestimated health threats facing older Americans. According to the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases, more than 37 million Americans are living with various stages of chronic kidney disease, and about 90% of them are unaware of their diagnosis. This is because the disease often progresses without noticeable symptoms in its early stages. However, any dietary changes, especially the addition of stimulating foods, can quickly worsen kidney function, including the use of ginger. Ginger has a mild diuretic effect. While this may be harmless for a healthy person, it can be dangerous for someone whose kidney filtration is already impaired. Ginger consumption may lead to a serious imbalance of electrolytes such as sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. These elements are directly involved in the functioning of the heart, muscles, brain, and kidney tissue. The stronger the diuretic effect, the higher the risk of dehydration and electrolyte depletion in individuals with chronic kidney failure. In 2022, the University of Missouri School of Medicine conducted a study involving patients diagnosed with stage 2, and stage 3 chronic kidney disease who regularly consume ginger in the form of infusions, capsules, and teas. After just 10 days, 25% of participants showed increased blood creatinine levels, decreased potassium levels, and a general decline in well-being. In 3 cases, dialysis sessions had to be temporarily suspended. The study revealed that even 3 grams of ginger per day can disrupt the fluid and electrolyte balance in patients with weakened kidney function. A concerning case occurred in Denver. A 68-year-old man named Jonathan Reed, who had hypertension and stage 2 chronic kidney disease, decided to cleanse his body after the holidays. He came across a popular detox plan online involving ginger, lemon, and cucumber. For a week, he drank 2 liters of this infusion daily, cutting out regular food entirely. By the 4th day, he began experiencing muscle cramps and weakness. By the end of the week, he developed seizures and confusion. In the intensive care unit, doctors diagnosed a sharp decline in kidney function, hyponatremia, low sodium levels, and hypokalemia, low potassium levels, which led to heart rhythm disturbances. Jonathan required intensive treatment and urgent electrolyte correction. If you have ever been diagnosed with chronic kidney disease, especially stage 2 or stage 3, or if you are undergoing dialysis, you should not consume ginger without explicit approval from a nephrologist. Even a small amount of ginger in tea or a dish can cause significant disruption in your body's fluid and salt balance. Avoid any cleansing recipes with ginger. particularly in hot weather or if your fluid intake is limited. Kidney safety is more important than any folk remedy. For supporting health in kidney conditions, use gentle options that do not have a diuretic effect, such as rosehip decoction or chamomile infusion. And remember, with chronic kidney disease, stability, moderation, and medical guidance are essential before making any dietary changes. Problem 9. May overload the liver and slow down its recovery. Each year, the number of people in the United States suffering from liver disease continues to rise. According to the American Liver Foundation, more than 100 million Americans show signs of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and tens of millions more are living with other chronic liver conditions, from hepatitis to fibrosis. At the same time, so-called liver detox trends are widely promoted online and on social media, often based on lemon, turmeric, garlic, and especially ginger. Ginger does in fact stimulate metabolism, bile secretion, and enzyme activity in the liver. But that is precisely where the problem lies. In a healthy person, the liver can handle this increased demand. However, in someone with existing liver damage, it is a different story. Accelerated enzyme activity leads to further irritation of liver tissue, increased levels of ALT and AST, enzymes that indicate inflammation, and worsened liver regeneration. In 2021, the Hepatology Clinical Research Center at the University of North Carolina conducted a study on the effects of popular natural supplements on liver health in patients with chronic conditions. The findings showed that 36% of individuals who regularly consumed ginger capsules or infusions experienced a 25% increase in ALT levels within just 2 weeks. Some participants reported fatigue, a bitter taste in the mouth, and heaviness in the upper right abdomen. Researchers emphasize that an inflamed or stressed liver does not need stimulation. It needs rest and protection. A textbook example is the case of a 60-year-old woman named Patricia Wallace from Dallas. She had been managing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease for several months. On the advice of a friend, she began a natural weight loss and cleansing program using ginger capsules ordered online. The manufacturer promised faster metabolism, detoxification, and weight loss. By the 4th week, Patricia experienced fatigue, loss of appetite, and a feeling of pressure under her ribs. After being examined at Baylor Healthcare, she was diagnosed with toxic liver damage, with her ALT level rising to 430 units per liter. The cause was identified as ginger, which had triggered inflammation on top of her existing hepatosis. If you have ever had liver issues, from non-alcoholic steatosis to hepatitis or cirrhosis, you should absolutely avoid using ginger for cleansing or boosting metabolism. The liver does not need stimulation, especially when it is inflamed or overburdened. Even a single cup of tea or 1 capsule can worsen your condition. Instead, you should consult a hepatologist, undergo a thorough examination, get biochemical blood tests, and follow a gentle diet that includes adequate protein and minimizes fat and spicy seasonings. Milk thistle, B vitamins, and a proper routine can help support recovery. Ginger, despite its benefits, is better left for individuals with fully healthy livers, and even then, only in moderation. Problem 10. Reduces the effectiveness of medications and can be dangerous when combined with other dietary supplements. Modern American medicine has been facing a new and very delicate challenge. Patients are increasingly combining pharmaceutical drugs with herbal supplements, often unaware of the possible consequences. According to data from the University of Maryland, more than 60% of American adults who take medications also use at least one biologically active plant-based compound. In most cases, this happens without consulting a healthcare provider. Ginger is one of the most common components. At first glance, ginger seems like a completely harmless spice, but it actively affects the liver's enzyme systems responsible for breaking down and metabolizing medications. As a result, drug concentrations in the blood can either decrease, weakening the intended effect, or increase, raising the risk of side effects. This is especially true for medications used to treat high blood pressure, mental health conditions, and sleep disorders. The paradox is that ginger can either reduce or amplify a drug's effect depending on the substance and the individual characteristics of the patient. In 2021, the Harvard School of Public Health conducted a study observing patients who were taking selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, common medications for depression, anxiety, and bipolar disorder. Some participants were given 2 cups of ginger tea daily. By the second week, 16% of them experienced worsened anxiety, insomnia, and irritability. Researchers found that ginger interferes with serotonin metabolism, particularly through its interaction with the CP2D6 and CYP3A4 enzyme systems, disrupting the stable action of these medications. This was confirmed in practice at a clinic in Seattle, where a 54-year-old man named Timothy Clark was being treated for bipolar affective disorder. For a year, he had been successfully managing his symptoms with lithium. Wanting to adopt a more natural lifestyle, Timothy began drinking fresh ginger tea every day, believing it would restore energy balance. 10 days later, he returned to his doctor complaining of mood swings, insomnia, and anxiety. Blood tests showed a drop in lithium levels despite consistent dosing. Doctors explained that ginger had altered the drug's metabolism, accelerating its elimination from the body. Combining ginger with other biologically active substances is equally risky. It enhances the effects of garlic, turmeric, ginkgo biloba, and ginseng, especially in terms of blood-thinning properties. This can result in unexpected and serious bleeding. One such case occurred in Austin. A 61-year-old man named Richard Donovan was taking a supplement regimen that included ginger, ginkgo, and garlic extract. He was not on any prescription medications, but firmly believed in the power of natural ingredients. On the fourth day, he felt weak and dizzy, then developed a nosebleed that lasted for more than an hour. He was taken to a clinic where doctors found critically low platelet levels and impaired blood clotting. Medical staff explained that the combined effect of the supplements, especially ginger, had intensified the overall blood-thinning action. If you take any medications for blood pressure, mental health conditions, insomnia, or other chronic illnesses, do not introduce ginger into your diet without consulting a doctor. Even a simple cup of ginger tea can alter a drug's pharmacokinetics, change its concentration in the body, and cause adverse reactions. If you are using supplements that contain garlic, ginseng, turmeric, or ginkgo, be sure to check the ingredients and make sure ginger is not included. Avoid combining multiple supplements with blood-thinning effects. Never mix natural and prescription remedies without knowing how they interact. It is better to spend one visit with a doctor or pharmacist than several weeks recovering from complications. Next, I recommend checking out these videos, and don't forget to leave your likes and comments. I'm looking forward to them.